All right. Good morning. Welcome to our January 15th, 11:04 a.m. Uh, training call for not just training, but also updates. But my head's in a couple different places because I've been going back and forth trying to figure out why the cycles are not working within the grids. That seems to be our biggest hang up right now. A bunch of the other logic seems to be working the way it should, so that's a positive thing. So what I'm going to do is just again go over just because I get these questions. I'm just going to go over exactly how the program works just so that everybody knows it. If you watch the replay, you understand it as we're still in the what I'm calling tweaking zone of getting the portal where you will see all of what you need to see on your grid on a daily basis so that you know exactly whether or not you qualified to get a payout and if the payout goes to you or to the velocity line. So let me just kind of walk through that real quick, and then from there we'll get into some Q&A after that. So again, understanding what the Velocity Bank network is, it's a way for people to be able to accumulate USDT just by either recruiting two people on a daily basis. Those same two people will always follow you. And as long as they send their $1,000, you will have $1,000 that will go to re-enter you for the next day into your same grid, or you'll have the other $1,000, which goes toward one of three different things. It goes toward the pool. Actually, two different things. It goes toward the pool, and the pool is about sustainability for all the people that don't bring two in. Or it goes to your Bankus card slash peer-to-peer as that gets built out. Um, so understanding that, basically, it is a decentralized platform that doesn't make you do anything on any given day except for logging in to check and see where you're at if you happen to fall into a window where you have a day where you did not get paid the day before. So think of it more like that than anything else. I've gone back and forth with people on a lot of different ways to look at it, but really what it is a grid that is set up with you and two people that just recirculate each and every day those $1,000. Now, if you bring in more than two people, you can have additional grids, or you can go into what we call our velocity line. So the velocity line allows you to not bring two people in and still participate in the program by getting auto placed by the AI every morning at 9 o'clock in the morning, 8:59. And basically, what that means is the AI is going to look every morning and say, "Hey, um, Bill does not have anybody in his grid at all. So he came in yesterday. He's got no one in there. So based on how many people are in line, it's going to look for all the people with zero on the first day. Then on the second day, it's going to look for all the people that have zero again, but those ones that had one, had they not added anybody in that 24-hour period, it's now going to add one more. So you're getting the picture here. If you come in with two, it will start the payout process the next day. If you come in with zero or one or each day, it will take a minimum of 3 days before that first payout would happen because your first day when you paid is getting you into coming from the velocity line. It gets you in to one of these empty grids that don't have their two positions. On that second day, if you didn't bring anybody in, it's going to pop one in for you, right? So now you're at your second day. And then on the next day, if you didn't pop anybody in, it will be on the third day, which then in turn, as long as there's people in the velocity line, by the fourth day is when you should expect to have your first payout, as long as there were people in line. So the sustainability is created because we know right now, as of last night, our number actually went up a little bit. We're now at about 88 or 75%. So that means 25% have now brought in their own two and are considered to be people that brought in two. So we picked up about 4% over the last 48 hours. So congratulations to you guys. But where the sustainability comes in is every first reward that is earned, which means it's on the first day that you have two deposits of 1,000 each that went to you. That will create a reward event, right? So that reward will go to the velocity line, which brings people up from our feeder program. And what is our feeder program? That is you previously it was called the priority program. So people can go in there that don't have $1,060 to get in. They get into that program, and it has two pathways. It has the pathway where the AI is doing the mathematical velocity of turning $60 into $1,000, or based on the sustainability pool that we've created, whenever that first reward goes in, it goes to bring somebody in that's in line. Okay. So you could be at priority number, say 350, and when your number would hit, even though you haven't hit your 18,350 to turn 60 into $1,000, you've now got pushed into the bridge quicker, and you are now going to follow that same process. So you're in the velocity line. You kind of work your way through. So so that's the one way, the first way that our sustainability works. The second way is where we take the fifth reward from everybody, anybody that's in the program. That fifth reward always goes to take care of, again, the sustainability pool. And that brings people in the the velocity bridge is what we're calling it now, right? So last piece is the seventh reward. So anybody that comes in through the velocity line, they also will pass off their seventh reward each time. So every time so we have what we call a grid, and then you cycle. Every night you can cycle 5 days a week, and that seventh reward now will go back to sustainability. Again, it brings people in. So the last piece of how everything kind of ties together is people that either come in for less than that 1,060, where they didn't come in for it, they will give up that second reward as well. So let's say you're in that bucket, we'll call it a bucket of the people that only paid 300. 700 is going to come from the sustainability pool, but you will wait until you get to the third reward before you put the first one in and then you'll follow the process each and every time. So what that does, again, it brings the funds that got loaned to you from the community back into the sustainability for those brand new people that we want to bring in. So that is, the flow of how everything works and how the logic is built into the platform. Now, last piece is you can take those funds that you're making, you can put them on your banker's card. Once the peer-to-peer, you could then put them up to say, hey, I want to trade my Bankus funds for funds that to my Zelle or to my PayPal. And then, or you can also join the 10 by 10 program and create assets with the leverage that's over there. So over here, it's all about what we're doing is creating velocity. If you have 1,060, the velocity can happen the first day that you're in. If you bring two people. If you don't bring two people, it might take a little bit longer depending on how many people are in line. So that's the program laid out in a big picture, which I like to do at the start, just because it starts to get ingrained in your minds. Before, once we're 100%, the data is tracking right within the AI platform that you're all on right now. Um, Once that is 100% right, we will go back to doing presentations. But I don't think we'll need a lot of presentations once we get stories going of people showing that, hey, this is working. It's happening on a daily basis. Unfortunately, right now, we're in that mode of the data's not 100% right. So when you look in your portal, you might see that the cycle went through, but the grid's not changing, or the grid went through, but the cycle's not. So all those things are the things we worked on all last night. Very disappointed at 8:59 this morning when not everything worked the way that I wanted. Some of the changes did happen in the logic and some of the changes on the interface. That stuff happened, but again, when you're dealing with AI, not coders and programmers. It's a whole different ball game when you're trying to take something from the beginning to the end in a matter of days, and that's really what we've been trying to do. So what we did last night is we pulled all the data, we took all that data, and we put it into a another program that the AI had, so that we could match that with the actual process on the AI side to say, okay, this one here got in at this time and prior to 8:59. So now we've got really two running tabs, if you will. We've got what you're seeing in front of you, which is not necessarily correct. In some cases, it actually is correct, but in a lot of cases, it's not correct. So that was my workaround last night, just in case I was disappointed this morning. I at least would have that so that um, tomorrow we will be able to 100% have payouts to all the ones that we manually know, and then what we're going to see today, which Eric's working on right now, is whether or not he can program it where I can manually make those changes. Because right now we have a small group of people; we don't have thousands yet. So if I can manually, then at least you can also see, you'll see it in your Bankus app and you will see it uh, in your portal. So that's the goal um, on what we're trying to do today. But like I said, for precautionary measures last night, I made the decision that I didn't want to go through the weekend without payouts. So I took everything, had the AI create me a running ledger, if you will, grid of so that I know exactly where everybody is within their grid. Because one of the other things that I had heard from several people is it's still moving people around, and that needs to be, it can't happen. Once you're tied to two people, once you're tied to your person, it cannot happen. If that's happening, that becomes a problem. I had a couple of screenshots this morning that showed it. So that's one of those other things that now that we're running side by side, at least we have a working grid over here that we can look at, and then when someone gets on a call or sends a support ticket in, we can say, "Oh, okay, Tuesday night at or Wednesday night at 10 p.m. This is what was in the grid, and then when we got up in the morning, it was something different for that person." Again, that's all working through. We're still having a problem with people being able to sign up new people on the change that we made on the registration page, and because they're so focused on this, that's not a major focus. We've got a workaround for that. So anybody that you're trying to bring in, they as long as they fill out the Wufoo form, we can manually get them into the system from an admin standpoint. So that's pretty much everything in a nutshell on where we're at. So we will go through and do some Q&A, but that's what I wanted at least for the replay for later so that everybody kind of knows where we're at. And everybody is understanding that what you're seeing may not be 100% right now, but what we're seeing now on the separate grid system, we're seeing that, hey, that cycle happened, even though it may not be showing up. We can see that it happened last night, and we know exactly who to credit for that. So, good news and bad news, I guess, at the end of the day. I'd love to say that um, what I was hoping for happened today. Unfortunately, it didn't, but I took the precaution last night so that if it didn't happen, that we wouldn't go through another day of not being able to move people along in their grid. All right, so let me end this here for the replay, and then let's.